I gotta say this. Do not allow your environment to dictate your reality. Do not allow your environment to dictate what you're worth. Your environment is not a measure of who you are. It is not a measure of your value or what you can give back to this world. It can be so easy to get sucked into your environment, absorbed by it and by the people in it. If you get stuck somewhere for too long, it really can infiltrate your mind and allow you to believe that there's no other world for you besides that. For as long as you are in that environment, you cannot allow it to define you or be a measure of your worth. So an example for me is when I was in college and I was working at Best Buy for about 3 to 4 years, as I was studying for school. It could have been so easy for me to have allowed that environment to define me. And what I mean by that is that when you're working somewhere, the people around you can very easily influence you to believe that that's where the rest of your life could end or could go. When I was at Best Buy, I believe I was getting paid about $11 an hour. Remember, I was a college student. That was one of my first jobs I ever had. And for the longest time, that's what I was getting paid, right? It's very easy to fall into a trap of this is what I'm worth right now. And I kept telling myself as I was going through that, this is just temporary. This is just temporary. This is not my reality. This is just me trying to make some money as I get my degree. And what happened? I got my degree, right? And I joined my next big job at Geico in a program for management. All of a sudden, they gave me the offer, which was, I believe, 25 plus an hour. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, initially I was worth about $11 an hour, but now I'm worth in the 20s, $25 an hour, which then increased over time, right? That became my new environment. And once I joined Geico, it was kind of the same thing. It's very easy to settle down and, decide that this is where the rest of my career is going to be spent. Especially when you have, once again, lifers, people that are there 15, 20, 30, 40 years and decide to make that their career, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I need you to recognize that just like for me, when I went from Best Buy to Geico and I reached another level, there can still be another level for me. There can still be another level for you. And if you get stuck in that one environment, you're never going to know or achieve the next level or what you're worth. Your worth cannot be tied to the jobs that you're getting and the money that you're making. You have to recognize that you are worth so much more than that. And in the right place, in the right environment, in the right friend group, your value is immeasurable to the right people. The thing too though is as you reach the next levels of your life, as you change environments, the requirements for you to level up also change. The requirement for me to go from Best Buy to Geico may have been a college degree and some charisma in my interview, right? But the requirement for me to go to the next level beyond that, whether it's entrepreneurship, starting my own business, the next level of management, is going to take more than that. It takes more than your college degree and the education you had beforehand. Now it takes some more internal work. It takes the power of knowledge, seeking out other sources of knowledge to learn and grow and become your best self. It may require me to be uncomfortable before I can reach the next step. And the thing too is that every step, as you make more money, the likelihood of you accepting that environment as your reality increases tenfold. The likelihood of you, becoming complacent in your environment increases tenfold. Because now you're making more money, it is easier to become comfortable. And for the longest time, that happened to me. Not that I didn't appreciate my job, but I wasn't putting in the work to increase my level of knowledge the way I should have all those years. Mindset was everything for me, and I was working hard and I was fighting. I just wasn't aware at so much knowledge that was out there for me to learn and grow so that I could potentially level up to my next step and what was waiting for me. Every part of the process is going to require different things from you to level up. And they're not going to be as easy and they're not going to be as comfortable. But I want you to recognize and I want you to realize that, once again, your environment that you find yourself in right now does not define you. Your environment is not your reality or an accurate measure of your worth and your value. It simply is not. I want to make it very clear that we're all capable of so much more and we can all do so much better if we allow ourselves to become absorbed by the environment that we're in. We're going to remain stuck and complacent. And then once you're in that environment, not everybody will have the right mindset to grow and move forward and level out of it. That's where people start partying. They prioritize going out, drinking, or doing things that don't add value into their lives. You're not going to know how much you're truly worth until you keep leveling up your life. When I was working at Best Buy and I was making about $11 an hour, it's easy for one to believe or fool themselves into thinking that that is what you're worth. Because that's what that company could pay me, you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm currently worth $11 an hour, which is a very dangerous trap. Once I got my degree and I got hired at Geico in a program for management, I remember the first moment I got the letter, all of a sudden a company is willing to pay me about $25 an hour, not just $11 an hour. And oh my goodness, I'm worth so much more than before, right? But you cannot allow the same thing to happen once you level up into your new environment. I cannot allow myself to accept that this is now my self-worth through promotions or through, whatever advances I make. I simply cannot accept that that's it. I cannot say and allow my environment, my new environment, to now dictate my new self-worth. You have to understand that our true self-worth is immeasurable. Our true value is hard to measure. It just is. We have no idea. Like, we just have no idea. Like, I was about to cuss right now. Like, we have no idea, like, what our value really is. We just don't. And, we cannot allow ourselves to remain stagnant and complacent in the environments that we're in. I cannot allow myself to believe that this is what I'm worth. And it gets harder because as you level up and you make more money, it becomes more difficult to level out of that environment because you become complacent. All of a sudden, I'm affording nice things, right? I had a new BMW every 3 years. I had money to spend. I had money to save. It's so easy for me to be like, I like this. This is a good life. And that's actually what happened to me. I spent about 8 years, a big part of it in management and then part as a sales agent. And I was living a good life. Complacency is our biggest enemy. And I have to remind myself, we have to remind ourselves that there is a next level for us, that there's something waiting for us that's going to completely shatter our previous notion or understanding of what our value was. If I'm making $35 an hour now, maybe my next level is, $75 an hour. Maybe it's my own business. Maybe it's $300 an hour, $1,000 an hour. We just don't know. But if we allow ourselves to become complacent in the environment that we're in and never fight to get out of it, we're never going to know. We're just never going to know. And understand that every level is going to demand different things from us to level out of it. As we advance into our new environments, it's going to take more from us. To go from Best Buy to Geico, I needed my degree and maybe some charisma to kill the interview, right? It may not be as easy to achieve my next environment or my next goal. It might take me being uncomfortable. It might take me seeking out other knowledge outside of just regular education, self-development, changing my mindset, changing my discipline, changing my structure. Facing, internal trauma, changing bad habits, getting rid of bad partnerships. It's going to take a whole other level of sacrifice for me to potentially achieve that. I believe I'm on that road, and I'm still learning about myself. and what I have to do to achieve that next level, but it's important to recognize that there is a next level. So just remember, you know, whatever you're experiencing right now, whatever environment you live in, it is just temporary. You have the power, the ability, and the capacity to level up, to join a new environment, to change your reality, as long as you take the appropriate steps to do it. You seek out knowledge, you keep growing, and you keep learning. That's my video for today. I appreciate all of you listening and supporting my growing channel. Thank you so much. Bye.